Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inspo Pod with me, Bethany. So I just wanted to do an intro video just to explain a little bit about what this podcast is going to entail and the premise for the episodes. So the Inspo Pod purpose is to bring you up close and personal with people that I find inspirational in my own life, who have inspired me in some way or inspire me daily, people that I care about, people that I look to when I'm struggling, I guess. Um, and I guess for you viewers, the purpose is to tune in every week for a fresh dose of motivation, for fun chat, inspirational quotes, and just one incredible story at a time. The reason for me doing this podcast is I myself feel like I've been on quite a journey in life. So, very humble beginnings, very tricky, some would say, start in life. Small town, small dreams, that kind of vibe. And slowly throughout the years, I've gotten to a place where I'm just super happy. And I feel like I'm continually leveling up and continually being motivated by inspirational people and continually apparently inspiring others, which is probably the biggest compliment I've ever received. Um, so the thought was just share that with the world, I guess. Um, and I'm really excited to have you all diving into the journeys of these extraordinary people with me, and how they got into their passions, how they got into their careers. I just think all of the stories are amazing. Um, and it's going to be really fun to tune in each week. I wanted to share with you my personal story. So, as you are all aware, my name is Bethany. I started off in a very small town, quite traumatic childhood, I would say, and not really much to really look up to in terms of inspiration. Coming from a place where everyone kind of dreams small, it's a small town where everyone knows each other. I know some people are super happy in that environment, but for me personally, I always knew that I needed to and wanted to get out. And I think the purpose of these conversations is not to say that anyone who wants to stay in a small town is wrong. It's to say if you want to do something different, you can. And if you want to stay and have a quiet life, you also can. It's completely your life, your journey. And that's the purpose of listening to different people's journeys, different people's stories. So going from there, I went to university in Manchester, studied events, very kind of up and down throughout these years, didn't really know myself, didn't really know where I wanted to go, was very confused, um, very kind of not in tune with who I am and what my goals are, I guess. Wasn't really working out, didn't really know who I was, wasn't really hanging around with people that I should have been hanging around with, etc., etc. And then from there, it's kind of been a journey of self-discovery, reading a lot of self-help books, therapy, figuring out where I want to be and where I want to go, which then led me to doing a year in Ibiza, where I really found I came out of my shell, the confidence grew. I met some amazing people, some of who are on this podcast, and people who really inspired me to, get into my fitness, stay consistent, do therapy, dream bigger, realize where I wanted to be. And I knew then that I wanted to be in London, take risks, say yes to things or say no to things if you don't want to do them as well. Saying no and saying yes are two of the most important things, I think. Follow your heart. If your heart's saying do something, but everyone else is saying, oh, don't do it, it might not work, it might not do this, but your heart's saying yes, go with yes. If someone's asking you to do something and your heart is saying no, but you think you should say yes, listen to your heart again, say no. I think whatever's inside is the most important. Your gut and your heart will always guide you to the right place. And I think what I figured out throughout these years is the most important thing in life is to find happiness within yourself and on your own. You can only have strong friendships when you find happiness alone. You can only have successful relationships when you find happiness alone. And I discovered that so many people are kind of seeking happiness in relationships, they're seeking happiness in other people. They've got friendships, but they're not really sure why their friendships aren't as solid as they'd like them to be, or why people don't hang around with them as much as they'd like, or I don't know, they're not having bonds that really nourish their soul. Maybe they're hanging around with the wrong people. And all of this comes down to kind of finding happiness within yourself and learning what makes you tick, what makes you happy, and following that. And the rest will just fall into place. I promise you this. So yeah, that's kind of what I learned over those years. And then moving to London, I feel like since then, everything's just leveled up, leveled up, leveled up. So I moved to London in the pandemic. Rent was cheap. That might be why I did it. But I had no job to come to. I had nothing. And I signed up with a job just before I moved here, which was only a month long, promotional work. It was just handing out sanitizer gel in train stations for 12 hours a day. Long hours, crap job, um, low wage, and no promise of like longevity. And I took it just for the chance to be here. And I thought, I'm going to make this work because it's what I wanted. It's what my soul was saying, this is what you want, go for it. So quite a long way from home, 3, 4 hours away, kind of had no backup, no savings in the middle of COVID. And I guess from there, just this attitude of kind of just go for it, and kind of that combined with the self-discovery journey that I was on of knowing myself and learning about who I am and what I want, that all kind of coincided to just make it work. And it did just work. And I won't lie, I've gone from job to job. People kind of joke, do you ever stay in a job? Are you going to stay? But I think these days it's so much easier to job hop. And I also think with the amount of jobs that are out there, you are well within your right to ask for more, ask for something better if you're not happy. And that doesn't necessarily mean just saying, oh, I want more money all the time, because you also have to recognize you get what you give. So constantly wanting more money is not the answer. It's just not. Um, but understanding your worth and understanding what you give and what you put in and your skill set as well, and recognizing the value of that is so important. So since being in London, I've had management jobs, I've managed bars, I've managed restaurants, I have worked in promotions, I've done voiceovers, I've done a bit of writing here and there. What else have I done? So much stuff. And the list kind of goes on. And then I found myself working in staffing. And then I got promoted and promoted and promoted to like a staffing manager, team manager. Then I kind of went back into events and venues, which is what I studied. And then I'm back into staffing, but I'm now self-employed. And I finally found a place where I'm super happy. And it's strange because there are certain things in life that kind of are going wrong. And family members not being well, or different things that I'm dealing with on the side. But had I not discovered who I am and what makes me happy, I wouldn't be as well equipped to deal with those things. So this isn't a podcast to tell people that life can be perfect. Life is always going to be great if you just listen. It's more about being inspired to follow what's in your heart so that you're better equipped to deal with the ups and downs of life, because life is always going to have ups and downs. And I think one thing I've learned that I would definitely love to share is that sometimes when you have the downs or things don't work out, it's a blessing in disguise. You can see a job loss as, the worst thing in the world, but realistically, at some point in the future, you're going to look back and go, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here. And I think everything that happens to me, I take it with such a positive attitude that it propels me forward rather than getting me stuck in the backwards, if that makes sense. So that's a little bit about my journey. I feel like I'm very spiritual. I'm very positive. Some people might tell me I'm wrong. There may be different opinions on this. And I have my moments, but I think the purpose of this is to share some of that inspiration, and also to kind of get an insight from other people who may in fact be doing better than me. For me, this podcast is also kind of therapeutic, and they're very insightful because it's not about waiting until you're perfect to share your views with the world. It's about knowing that everyone's a work in progress and going, actually, I can learn something from someone else. So for me, it's picking out those people that are either doing something I love or doing something that they love, or that have an amazing outlook on life and are just super, super happy. And I think those kind of people are people we can learn from, because people that are doing well in business, there's so much to learn from them. And people that are doing well in life and are happy, there's so, so much to learn from them, like bucket loads. And I guess it's just a dream of mine for everybody to find this level of happiness and to not rely on external factors for their happiness. So many people, their moods are dependent on their job, they're dependent on their relationship status, they're dependent on how many guys are chatting to them, they're dependent on how many friends are messaging them that day. And it's just not sustainable if you're pinning your happiness on your surroundings, your job, men or women, or anything that you have no control over. You're not going to be happy. I think so strongly that happiness starts from within. And I think when you have that, and then you have an amazing job, and then you find a man, and then you do this, and then you do that, those things just add. They're just add-ons. They don't take away, and they're not instead of. So you need to find that happiness within you and find out what aligns with your soul, aligns with your goals. And once you find those things, I promise you, life becomes a breeze. It sounds too good to be true. Life literally becomes a breeze. I have never felt so in tune with who I am, or so in tune with my purpose or my job or everything around me. And it's exciting because I'm the most single of all my friends. Yeah, I'm the most excited because when I do meet someone, it's going to be fireworks. And I think when you're excited for life and you're so happy in your place, nothing can bring you down, and you're equipped to deal with anything. So yeah, hopefully I can share some of that, inspire some people. Hopefully there's some laughs to be had along the way, and you can all take something from every episode. And I'd love to hear questions. I'd love to hear, you know, things that you'd want to know more about. I'm no expert, I'm not trained specifically in any of these topics, but I'm someone that learns from other people and loves listening and loves talking and loves sharing. So it would be really great to hear what inspires you guys, what you want to hear from me. I've read a million books, so I've probably got a million quotes I can fire off. So yeah, that's it really. So the Inspo Pod, give it a listen every week. Hopefully you'll be inspired by some of the amazing people that I have on the podcast, who have really, really made a difference to my life, and hopefully will make a difference to yours too. Thank you all for listening, and I'm so excited to have you guys tune in the coming weeks. And let's speak soon.